Hi guys, I just wanted to share something. This morning I was on a prayer group with a group of believers, and while we were just waiting on God, we usually pray for 15 minutes in tongues, and then we sit and wait for 15 minutes just in silence, practicing silent prayer. And during that time of waiting upon Him, I just felt such a sweetness, such a richness and sweetness of His presence all around me. And I was just enjoying that. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about that, about enjoying His presence, but also how powerful His presence really is. Now, we had read earlier in the call, we had talked about those who follow the Lamb. This is, you can find that in Revelations 14 and 15. There are those who follow the Lamb and they are absolutely devoted to Him, like absolutely lay down their lives in love for the Lamb, and they go where He goes. And that's in chapter 14 in Revelations. And then in chapter 15, it talks about how they sing a new song, and it's called the Song of the Lamb. Now, there's two main songs in Revelations. There's the Song of Moses, which speaks about deliverance, and then there's the Song of the Lamb, which is a song of devotion. And what Yeshua was highlighting to me in this moment, or what he said to me was, there are songs that you can only sing in that place of intimacy. New songs that come out of love, out of devotion, out of worship, out of that love union. And they just bubble forth from the heart. And they can only be sung in that place of intimacy. And yeah, that just really hit my heart because, I have some poems that I've written for Jesus, some love letters. I've never written a song. I usually sing in tongues or I just release sounds in worship, but these are new sounds with new melodies. And they're definitely coming from the place of love and deep intimacy. And when we talk about the presence, I was reminded of the mystic saints. And the mystic saints, they would um, go into such deep places of prayer and into His presence that supernatural things would happen to them or happen around them. Um, for example, there's records of mystics who levitated in prayer. They were so deep in prayer that they would be lifted off the ground or get completely covered in gold dust, or even start to manifest the wounds of Christ on their own bodies. And they were just so deep in union with Him. And I totally believe that in His presence, supernatural things do happen because He's there, right? And it's His kingdom. And everything that's part of His kingdom, which includes the supernatural, miracles, wonders, healings, dreams, visions, they all become so much more real, so much more tangible. And if you think about Peter's shadow, and I know that we talk about how it was his metron, it was his realm of authority, it was his anointing that was healing people. I think in the book of Acts, right, it says that Peter's shadow was healing people. I believe, or I think, yeah, well, this is my own personal theory, but I believe it was that love union that he had with Jesus. And if you look back at Peter's relationship with Jesus, I mean, it runs so deep, right? But I believe he was so into that place of intimacy and union with Jesus that he was just manifesting his presence. It was all around him. And so that realm of healing, that realm of deliverance that was around him was because he was in that place of union with Christ. And then from intimacy was that outflow of healing, outflow of power, outflow of deliverance. And it's coming from the place of intimacy, and it's the presence, his presence, which brings those supernatural things, like what was happening with the mystic saints. But I know for myself, I've experienced this too. So I've been in prayer, in deep places of prayer, and I would just receive spontaneous deliverance where I really felt like something was coming up through my chest, through my mouth, and just leaving my body. Something demonic. I don't even know what it was. Was there an open door? Were there legal rights? Uh, were there agreements? It just left. It left me because I was in his presence, and his presence was pushing that stuff out. And so it was spontaneous deliverance. And even with healing, I remember a time when I did a 30-day fast. It was about 3 years back or 4 years back. And the point of this fast was, or the key verse of this fast was about remaining in the vine. I don't know if it's John 15, 16, 17, forgive me. But it was about, remaining in the vine, because we are the branches and he's the vine. And so that's how we bear fruit. And it was about developing that connection to be in the vine. And that was our focus. Our focus was him. And during that fast, I received a healing, which till this day, I'm enjoying the benefit of that healing. I was released from pain. And so I know that his healing brings power. It brings healing. It brings deliverance. I've experienced it. I might have not yet experienced the levitation, or I don't know. Funny story though is where I used to work, there were about 3 desks in the office, and the other two, each desk had a flower. And by the end of that year, my flower was the only one that survived through the winter, through the summer. That flower was always blooming, and I always wondered, is it because it's on my desk, it's in my vicinity? And I was like, no, I want more. If that's because of the presence of God around me, then I want the whole office to be soaked in that. I want all the flowers in here to be blooming and, flourishing. But he increases it, yeah, according to our faith, according to our maturity. But I just want to, yeah, remind you guys, just, enjoy his presence. Enjoy him when you go be with him. You don't have to always speak. And of course, it's good to unburden yourself. It says, cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. It's good to release that and speak that out, and um also govern, uh, release words, release decrees, release declarations. That's all wonderful, even interceding for others. It's all needed. But I also want to encourage you to give him time, just to enjoy him like you would with a best friend, like you would with a lover, a spouse, where you're just enjoying that they are there right now in that moment with you. They know you better than anybody else. They understand you. They love you beyond you could ever imagine. And to rest in that, just to really rest in that love and enjoy his presence, enjoy him being there. I think he really loves it. He really enjoys that too. So yeah, I just want to bless you with that and encourage you. Enjoy the sweetness of him, who he is when he shows up. Um, and just rest in that love, rest in his presence, and let his presence do what it needs to do in your life. All right, love you.